Hi everyone, in today's video I'm going to show you how to make this little bear lovey. Okay, so I'll leave a link in the description for the blanket. This is the star blanket, and I'll leave a link for the hexagon as well. So all you're going to need is some cotton yarn in black, white and whichever main colour you'd like. Some stuffing, scissors, a yarn needle and a 3mm hook. To start, take your white cotton yarn, make a slip knot, and chain 2. Okay, go back into the first chain that you made and make 6 single crochets. In the next row you want to increase from 6 to 12. So 2 single crochets in each stitch. In the next row you want to increase from 12 to 18. So 1 single crochet in the first stitch and 1 increase in the second stitch. Okay, so just repeat that until you get back to the stitch marker. 1 single crochet and 1 increase in the next stitch. Now that we've increased to 18, I'm just going to do 1 row of single crochet. So just 1 in each stitch. Okay, in the next row we're going to change colors, so I'm just going to slip stitch to the next stitch. And then I'm going to chain 1 with the new color. In the next row, I'm going to increase to 24. So I'm going to put one increase in the stitch that we slip stitched into. And then 2 single crochets. So it's 1 increase and 2 single crochets until you get back to the start. In the next row, we're going to increase to 30. So single crochet 3. And an increase. Okay, 3 single crochets and an increase. In the next row, we're going to increase from 30 to 36. So single crochet 4. And an increase. Okay, 4 single crochets and an increase until you get back to the stitch marker. Okay, so now that we've increased to 36, I'm going to do 7 rows of single crochet. So just 1 in each stitch for 7 rows. Okay, so I'll go and do that and I'll come back and show you how it looks. Okay, so here's how it looks after my 7 rows of 36. And the next row we're going to start to decrease, so we're going to go from 36 back down to 30. So single crochet 4, and then 1 decrease. So go through the front loop of the first stitch, front loop of the second stitch, yarn over and pull through those 2 loops, yarn over and pull through the last 2. Okay, so 4 single crochets and a decrease. So front loop of the first stitch, front loop of the second stitch, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. Okay, so once you've decreased down to 30, you just want to do 1 row of single crochet. So just 1 in each stitch for 1 row. Okay, so once I've single crocheted 30 around, and the next row we're going to decrease down to 24. So single crochet 3. And a decrease. Okay, 3 single crochets and a decrease until you get back to the stitch marker. And the next row we're going to decrease to 18. Single crochet 2. And a decrease. So 2 single crochets and a decrease until you get back to the stitch marker. And then after this row I'm going to stuff it a little bit. Okay, so I decreased down to 18 and I've stuffed it. In the next row we're going to decrease to 12. So 1 single crochet and 1 decrease. Okay, so now that I've decreased down to 12, you just need to add any more stuffing. And then we're going to decrease to 6. So we're going to decrease every stitch. Okay, so 6 decreases for this row. Okay, so once you've decreased down to 6, you want to cut the yarn long enough to stitch it onto the blanket and pull it through. And then you just want to weave the tail through the front loops of each of the 6 stitches. Okay, and then pull it tight. Okay, next I'm going to stitch on the face. So I'm going down to just below the center ring. Then up 1, 2, 3. Okay, so once you've stitched on the face, the next thing you need to make are the ears. So take your main colour, make a slip knot, chain 2, and then go back into the first chain that you've made and make 6 single crochets. Okay, pull the tail tight. In the next row you want to increase from 6 to 12. So 2 single crochets in each stitch. Okay, so once we've increased to 12, then you just want to do 2 rows of single crochet. So just 1 single crochet in each stitch for 2 rows. Okay, so I'll do that and then I'll come back and show you how it looks. Okay, so that's how it looks after my 2 rows of 12. And then I just want to slip stitch to the next stitch and cut my yarn long enough to stitch it onto the head. And you can hide the first tail inside the ear, but I'm not going to stuff them. Okay, so when you're stitching on the ears, you can give them a little curve by stitching the center back a row. Okay, and they're 1, 2, 3, about 4 rows back from the eyes. To start, I'm going to take my white yarn to make the paw, make a slip knot, chain 2, and then I'm going to put 4 single crochets in the first chain that we made. Okay, pull the tail tight. And the next row I'm going to increase from 4 to 6. So I'm going to make 1 single crochet, 1 increase in the next stitch, one single crochet, and 1 increase in the last stitch. Okay, so you should have 6 single crochets around. In the next row we're going to increase to 8. So I'm going to do 2 single crochets, one in the first stitch, one in the second stitch. Next I'm going to put an increase, and then I'm going to repeat that again, so 2 single crochets and an increase. Okay, now that I have 8 single crochets around, I'm going to make a thumb. You don't have to make one, but they're pretty easy. So just chain 3 and then go back into that last single crochet that you made through the front loop and through the loop on the side and slip stitch. Okay, I'm going to slip stitch to the next stitch, and I'm going to change to my main color. Okay, so just chain 1. And knot the 2 ends together. Cut the white yarn, and then to finish off the arm you just want to do 17 rows of 8. So I'm going to go back into the one that we slip stitched into, single crochet, so just 1 in each stitch for 17 rows. And when you get to the thumb, just put your single crochet in here, and then just work behind the thumb, pull it down and single crochet into that first stitch. Pull it tight. Okay, so just 1 in each stitch for a total of 17 rows. Okay, so this is how it looks after my 17 rows. Doesn't take too long. The next thing you want to do is slip stitch to the next stitch. And cut your yarn long enough to stitch it on. Pull it through. Okay, so I line everything up and then I stitch the arms on underneath. And then I stitch the head onto the blanket. Right in the center. Okay, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.